Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the ultimate game in the Super Smash Bros. Series. It has a staggering total of around 82 characters. It's unquestionably the best Smash Bros. Game ever made. But the question is, what comes next in the series?
So yes, as you say, a very big game with loads of characters. As they say, everyone is here. But where could they go next, I wonder?
That's the question. Now, of course, we've got everybody in the game, from Cloud Strife to Banjo-Kazooie, Sora from the Kingdom Hearts series, to, I don't know, Steve from Minecraft. Literally everybody you could possibly think of.
Snake.
Every video gaming character idea. Snake, Bertie, that's right. Literally everyone. Even the characters that were doing the meme rounds on the internet ages ago, and they were saying, oh, he'll never get in the game. Well, guess what? He's here now. So they really have covered every possible character-related base. So I think what we have in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is we have an awful lot of quantity. Now the question is, do we have an awful lot of quality? And the answer to that is also a resounding yes.
Yes, we do, yes. We've seen the quality, we've seen the quantity, but knowing what Nintendo are like, they like to go to the next stage. They've always been that way.
Yes.
They had a great console with the SNES, they want to go to the next stage to the 64.
Right.
You know, that's what they're like. So, although they've included a lot in this game, I think they're going to want to do something in the future because it's a very, very popular game.
Yes, of course.
So, I mean, can they improve, do you think, on, for example, the platform way that it's presented at the moment, with the moving platforms scrolling in and out? Do you think they can improve that, perhaps?
You mean the gameplay mechanics?
The mechanics of the game. I mean, I'm thinking, I'm just going to put this out there. Fans of the series might not like this idea, but, a Tekken-style presentation, for example, where they're just two characters on the screen, not going to work now.
I mean, that's really quite a controversial take. I mean, you have to look at the origins of the Smash Bros. Series.
Yes.
Way back in the late 90s, of course, Masahiro Sakurai came up with this great idea for a platform-based fighting game that went contrary to everything that was currently on the market. It wasn't like Street Fighter, it wasn't like King of Fighters or any other fighting game you could name with just a stationary stage there with two fighters duking it out. No, this game had up to 4 fighters and now even more on the same screen with no, sort of super difficult combos to learn, no HP based system. Oh no, you just whack the enemy and the more you damage them, the further they get sent flying each time you hit them. So of course it was a completely revolutionary idea, and since then Nintendo have completely changed the game with each new iteration of Smash Bros. Melee introduced brilliant new graphics, Brawl introduced it to the Wii, which is a wildly popular system, Smash Bros. 4 of course took Brawl even further, and now Ultimate has arguably perfected it. Now of course the only place they can really go now, if you think about it, is to fundamentally alter the game itself, because they can't really get any more Ultimate than Ultimate itself.
Exactly, which is what I was just saying. Now, you just would have put a very good point there through, is that the actual gameplay mechanics have been from day one, where they've introduced this area where you can get lots of characters on the screen,
yes.
Not just like the Tekken I said, where it's one against the other.
Right.
But I mean, is there a way that could be put into the game, perhaps where screens moved from screen to screen, or do you think it's completely off the table?
I don't know. I think Nintendo's focus with Smash has always been to keep it at least fairly casual. After all, you've got items, you've got various very, very simple combos to do, just press B and up to do an up special, all this kind of thing. Whereas in games like Street Fighter, it's, half circle back and press X and Y and Z whilst, rubbing your head and patting your tummy to do Zangief spinning pile driver. Oh my goodness me, so many combos to learn. But in Smash Bros, it's all about simplicity. However, there is a big but to that. In recent updates to Smash Bros. Ultimate, I'm talking about characters like Ryu, Ken, Kazuya, and other imported characters from other fighting game series. They've started to introduce slightly more complicated control mechanics for those characters, so that people who do enjoy, for example, inputting combos, can now do that in Smash as well. So therefore the question is, will the next Smash Bros. Game start to include more and more complicated controls?
Well, I think that's a very interesting point, and we've got games like, other fighting games which use a lot of very complicated, inputs to do special moves, haven't
Right.
we? And so, yes, I think they could possibly do that, most certainly, and that might add to something to the game indeed, and for the player. But we're talking about actual graphics and ideas and things like that, how it actually looks. I wonder what they could do there. I'm just thinking, also we were talking about the mechanics there, just come to me there. What about if they could perhaps bring in an area where you could tag a character? So, you're controlling one character, but you can tag him out for the other character.
Well, I mean, other fighting games have tried that from time to time with tag battles going on, like Skullgirls and other games like that, so it's possible they could try to do that, but that would really be fundamentally altering the way the game works, and if you ask me, if I'm brutally honest, I don't know if it would be a good change. But here's something Nintendo could try. Here's an idea they could try. Now, people have tried this before and it's failed miserably, but if anyone can make it work, it's Nintendo. What if they could somehow make the entire Smash Brothers gaming mechanic 3D instead of 2D? And I'm talking about, that's right, having an open arena that operates in 3 dimensions instead of 2. Yes, I realise there are many issues, challenges and problems with that, but if anyone can make it work, it's Nintendo, and especially Mr. Sakurai.
Most certainly, yes, and I think if any doubters are out there, I think we need to think of the SNES and the Super Mario's back there and how they changed that to the 64.
Yes.
And of course Mario 64, which was a huge thing they did.
Yes.
And probably one of the biggest things in gaming, I think.
Right.
But yes, certainly. So I think possibly they could try that, they could do that. But as we said earlier, that most certainly this is a company that likes to add, change things they've got which are good and make them better.
Yes.
So they're going to definitely do something with this. And I think what we're talking about here is something that is definitely going to happen, I think, because there's only so many characters they can add to the current game.
That's right.
To increase its interest. So they're going to do something definitely, yes, in the future. We know this.
So Nintendo have always had an ace up their sleeve with each new game. They always feel the need to innovate and introduce something new. So Smash Bros. Ultimate has been all about that quantity as well as quality, but next time they might just go for a sole focus on quality with perhaps a fundamental change to the gameplay as opposed to just packing every single character conceivable in there. Who knows, they might even launch the game with 12 characters from the start. It could just be Mario, Link, Kirby and a few others in there, but just with this focus on a pure fighting game quality. Who knows? Now, the question, of course, over what will happen to Smash Brothers is largely tied to one man, Mr. Masahiro Sakurai. He's 52 now. He announced in March 2022 that he was working on a new project not related to game production.
So I wonder if we could be being perhaps a little bit naive in thinking that they're going to do this game, or a potential new Smash Brothers game, on the Switch.
Right, indeed, a very good point there, because of course typically you only get one Smash Brothers game per console. Now of course, as everybody knows, or if you haven't been paying attention, maybe you don't know, but the Nintendo Switch is already nearly 6 years old. It's getting on a bit in console terms, so there has to be a new Nintendo console on the horizon quite soon. No matter what the CEO says, I think there was a recent statement from the CEO saying the Switch is in the middle of its life cycle, but of course the last thing they're going to do is say, well yes, we're almost done with the Switch now, because everybody would stop buying Switch games, so they're never going to say that. But I do think, yes, we could be seeing a new Nintendo console fairly soon. If that's the case, a new Smash Brothers will inevitably follow. Now, what they could do is they could say, right, we're going to release Smash Brothers Ultimate Deluxe with all the characters and stuff in one bundle.
That's a good point. Yes, I think that they've done similar things, but I don't know whether that would cut it for a new console. I think the players and I think the fans would want to see something different rather than just the same games before.
I'd love to agree with you, but unfortunately they have indeed done this with another similar series, exactly that in fact, in the past. Of course we had Mario Kart 8 on the Nintendo Wii U, and rather than making a new Mario Kart game on the Switch, they just went ahead and released Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So they have done this before, and to be honest with you, it's going to be really hard to top Ultimate, so I could potentially see their next move as being, making a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Deluxe on, the Switch 2, or whatever they're going to call it. But of course, we're not really here to discuss that. We're looking here at what they're going to do for an actual true new entry in the Smash Bros. Series. Now, if that is to happen, it does hinge very much on one man, Mr. Masahiro Sakurai. He is, of course, the mastermind behind Super Smash Bros. The question is he up to the task of making an entirely new one? Well, he's 52 now, so likely yes. However, he did state in December 2015 that he wasn't sure if there would be another game in the Smash Bros. Series. He had previously talked about retiring due to the stress levels involved in making Smash. He also announced in March 2022 that he's working on a new project, but it's not related to game production. So, do you think he's really got it in him?
He's getting on a bit now, I suppose, in terms of gaming, and he's had a good old innings there. So he might not be too keen about perhaps changing his style and the things he's been used to. But I have to say this, there's always someone else that can come in and take someone else's place. And it's been done in the gaming before, and it can be done here.
It could be done. We could see new blood on the scene, completely shaking up the world of Smash. It could happen. They could go 3D. They could make it combo based. Who knows what they could do? Undoubtedly, there's going to be a new Smash Bros. On the next console at some point. That's not just a deluxe edition revamp, but we don't know if Sakurai will be the producer or not. If he isn't, we could see some big changes. It could be something entirely new, as I say. There could be limited characters. Who knows where this game could go? So right now, yes, it is a bit of a question mark, but in order to uncover more clues, you have to be a bit of a detective and look behind the scenes at what's going on, with Sakurai there saying maybe it was a bit stressful, he's not sure about the next one. Shake-ups at Nintendo, there's been a new CEO after Iwata's passing, 2 new CEOs of course, a new console on the horizon, so all signs are pointing to some kind of Smash Bros. Announcement relatively soon, in Nintendo time at least, relatively soon.
Yeah.
I'm not saying next week, but certainly in the next couple of years we could be seeing something related to a new announcement, and I'm very excited to see what happens.
Yes, I was just going to say that, yes. Whether you think what we're talking about here, in other words, a completely new Smash Brothers game, do you believe that that is something that is going to happen?
Well, I don't know. I think yes. I think it could well happen, old chap. I would be interested to see what people think in the comments also. Let us know your thoughts, fellows. What do you think they're going to do next? Smash Bros. Ultimate Deluxe, or indeed a brand new Smash game just shaking up the entire formula? Or would it just be, Super Smash Bros. Super Ultimate with even more characters? I don't know what they're going to do.
It's going to be a new game, I think.
I hope it's not just Super Ultimate, because of course, we've done Ultimate now. We've got to try something new. Nintendo are all about that Doxor, innovation, trying something new. So we'll have to see where they go. But this has indeed been GameChap and Bertie discussing the possibilities for what might come after Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Thank you very kindly for joining us, fellows, and we look forward to seeing you once more in the next exciting outing, I say. Until then.
Oh, yes.